Yeah, but don't go there. Please give me a thumbs up. Stay away from all that.
Okay. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Its agenda, date, time, and location were properly announced. Thank you guys for coming. We will start with the approval of the minutes of July 20th, 2026, the regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Katie, is there a second?
I second.
Chris? Any corrections, questions?
We did not get any.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have payment of the bills. Is there a motion to approve for the month of July the amount of $935,765.36?
I make a motion.
Chris, is there a second?
I'll second.
Beth, any questions there?
None there either.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the cash summary.
You have the cash summary, pretty light this time. Nothing really to highlight out of this month, so I think we're good.
Any questions on the cash summary? Okay. That takes us to donations.
Yes, first of all, thank you to Valor Tech. It's Valor Tech Foundation. Dropped off last week, probably around $300 worth of supplies to, maybe it was 3 or 4 big boxes of all kinds of crayons and markers and paper and all those things that our students are always looking for. So thank you for thinking of us. And great job by Natalie for getting a couple Husqvarna chainsaws donated. She's doing so many really great things with her conservation class. This will get our students certified with be able to run a chainsaw, and she has some pretty cool ideas what she wants to do in the school forest with this. So way to make that work, and yeah, just exciting stuff. I know chainsaws and high school students, I'm like, but we're a district that already gives our kids guns to go pheasant hunting. So I'm like, you know what? We make sure that we do all the safety things. Our students would be running these things, doing these things if we did it or not. So this is just part of what our community is, and we'll lean into it. So yes.
Okay, well, that's great. Comments from the public? No comments, okay. Building reports.
All right, good evening. Going to kick us off with our strong culture. So Luxembourg exchange. So we are in year 3, going into year 3 with our exchange between us and Luxembourg. And so it'll be over Labor Day weekend that the Luxembourg teachers and students will be coming over here to visit us. So we're looking forward to that. And then it'll be next summer where we will go to visit over in Luxembourg. Staff beginning of the year kickoff tomorrow morning, sharp at Nourish Farm. So Mike is working with the team over there and has a fun-filled morning of team building activity and connecting with Nourish. So we're all looking forward to that. And our school year theme, so elementary, the adventure continues, and middle school, high school will be focused on leaders in the making. So everything we do throughout the year will be tied to that theme.
Some strong community connections. The 4 kids and the PTO have joined forces. So some of the events coming up for them is the Fall Fest and the Color Run. And they're also working on all of the concessions this year. So that's been a really positive connection for both of them. We had our 2nd annual parent advisory meeting this last August. August 3rd, and our next one's coming up in November. They really liked it when it was before the board meeting because they wanted to come into the board meeting as community members after. So that was a really fun, positive connection. They commented that they've seen growth in our communication with the adoption of our class dojo, which really has helped keep our parents informed. So that was a highlight of the meeting, as well as the family connections. Volunteer came and met with our group, and we're going to be holding a family connections talk about in October. So more details on that coming later. Our supply drop off is this Thursday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And parents can come in and leave their supplies at their students' cubby and put stuff in their lockers and do all kinds of things. And then our last for Strong Community Connections is our Gables presentation. So welcoming everyone and Bonnie from Gables here, Lori, Mary, to kind of talk about the program. And I do have for the board, I'll pass that over, kind of the plans that we did last year. So a little bit of information about that. Mary, did you make this? Yeah, she did such a great job.
As we're handing this out, I just wanted to kind of, before we kick it to them, the Generations program, Mary, you and I have been doing this since pre-COVID, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was 2019,
Right.
We started this, and it's had many different generations. We did it initially with Rams Care, and then Lori did it with her middle school students. And the last couple of years where we've really found a lot of success is integrating it into our structured adventures with our elementary students and finding ways to get our youngest students working with the residents of the Gables. And these three ladies have been doing a fantastic job. And one of the things we want to do is just once a year come and just give you an update, give you a chance to ask questions about how's this working, why do we keep doing this, and make sure that you see what kind of value this has, not only for our kids, our students, but also for the residents over at Gables. So with that, Lori, if you want to start off.
I think you were ready, weren't you? She was.
I'm Bonnie Rickers, the elementary school counselor. So this is something I was happily thrown into when I started here. This is my third year. So I just love going there with the students and seeing that interaction. I have a background in art therapy, so just that hands-on approach, seeing the residents do the work, the students helping them along the way, whether they realize it or not, and their rambunctious energy and joy and giggles. Even though the residents might be a little quieter at times, they love that, and they talk about it for days and days and just ask, when are they coming back again? When are the kids coming? What are we doing next time? So we changed our scheduling a little bit this year. So we have each grade going twice within a month to create consistency with the residents so they can put names to faces. We started doing like interviews, so we as hosts get to learn more about the residents there as well, which is always fun, and the that builds each time we go as well. Yeah.
You? Who's going to go? You go. Oh, you'll make go? Okay, I'll do it just fine. Well, I mean, I guess piggyback off of that, I mean, I would totally agree. For me, I've been doing this quite a few years, and as Mike said, with a lot of different grade levels, it has been great actually being back in the elementary. I mean, not that the middle school was great at it, but the elementary kids, I think they just are a little more free. And the residents love that. You know, they really do get so much out of it. And like she said, they're always asking when they're coming back, and just really looking forward to that. I don't know. I just keep seeing us growing. I think it's been really nice to have the addition of, you know, Becky that is doing the scheduling for us, that you guys work on that. That is super helpful. And I'm just loving watching it grow. Yeah. So, I mean, one thing that we want, can I ask for this? As long as I have attention, public. Some volunteers, you know, I mean, we do have volunteers that come. You get parents, which is fantastic. but it would be really nice to have some other people that could come and sit at the tables, even if it was just one time, because when they're doing it, sometimes, the residents, if they can't hear the kids or they, just to have someone to kind of help them, to help the kids kind of get the conversation going and to lead it a little bit. So we're kind of seeking, I have found one. So we're seeking some other people maybe to come in and show up once in a while and give a hand, because it's lovely. So any of you that would like to,
It's a lot of fun.
we have a good time.
Fun.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one thing we thought this year could improve things, is just to have a little more on-site support at each table. Like you had said, Lori, sometimes you almost need a translator, because so many of the residents are hard of hearing, and the kids will, although they can be quite loud when they want to be, when they're in that environment, they will sometimes kind of be soft-spoken, and so you kind of need someone to coach. So I guess we're using the word coach, looking for some volunteers to be available to just man a table, stay with that table, and just kind of coach the interactions a little bit. They'll take it off. I mean, you don't need a lot. Most of the time, it's a natural connection, but sometimes it'll stall, and that's when it's good to have somebody there. So we do have a mission statement we all approved at the last board meeting, and mission statements sometimes can sound kind of high-minded and long-winded, but I think we truly mean this. So I know we truly mean this. To enhance quality of life for both seniors and youth by fostering meaningful connections, bridging generational divides to create a more compassionate and connected community through mutual respect and shared experiences. And I think we see this happening. We see the growth in the students. And I can only imagine, as this program continues, next year they'll come again and as the next grade up, and it will be more familiar to them. And you see empathy come out from the students towards the residents, and you see joy in the residents. I mean, it's just a wonderful, and we try and fashion activities that are special to both age groups, and that's kind of a challenge, but we put our minds together at the beginning of the year. That's coming up, and we work with the activity directors over at Gables to come up with what's going to work. And we'll try and tie it in sometimes seasonally, or, if there's that month, we'll do Christmas stuff or, Valentine stuff, but something that's doable for both groups of people. Oh yeah, that was another change. Thank you. We wanted to, one of the challenges is there's usually 20 plus students per perhaps a dozen, sometimes more residents. So we've always wanted to have there's another building 1 is the memory care unit, have just a small group over there, and that will kind of offload some of the numbers in building 2, and let those students just join the activity that's already planned in building 1. They usually have something very fun, and that's really a pretty participative group. It has been. Yeah. They're very loving the interaction. It's almost easier. You think there are some challenges because of the memory care, and we need a little prep on the kids' end. There's a disability there that is a little higher in level. Maybe some behaviors will be a little different, but all in all, the kids are really accepting of that. It's not. It's not as much of a barrier as you think it would be. So,
I think one of the things that I've seen come from this, come from this, even when I had the 7th graders, some of them have gone on to work there. Some of the kids that went there with me have worked there. So it's wonderful. I mean, they get so excited. Or when I say things like, well, you can visit other days. You don't have to just come this day. And they're like, we can? I'm like, yes. months. Tell your mom. Like, you can go and visit anytime you want. So I do. I think when they start recognizing each other, I was going to say something about our favorite activity. I think when that little girl, was it a little girl that drew the picture of the man?
A fourth grader. Yep.
It was the best.
So she's a quieter student, and she connected with this one resident and was his right hand for this one craft. And then the second time we came to visit, she drew him this portrait, and I've never seen her draw something like this before. And it was so accurate. It was just a little outline sketch of his face. And she said, I made this for you. And he lit up like no other. And it was so precious. So that's one of my favorite memories there, and as a counselor for sure. And then just building off the stuff, like going there outside of our structured adventure. We want to branch out for reading to the residents. So for Read Across America or other times to have classrooms go in. And we talked about doing a prom with the residents. And then we also have a fall festival every year. So we're taking that out of our structured adventure and making that its own standing event. Where we had upper levels, fifth graders host stations. So the residents could also enjoy them. And then we had 5K in first grade, I think, got to go through and do all these different stations that you guys generously helped with as well.
The theme for high school and middle school is leaders. Let's
So let's get everyone over there and have a great time. So, yeah.
And we've been doing this so long. This is something that you would think everyone does, but anytime I go anywhere around and talk about things we're doing with our structured adventures or what strong community connections are for our district, and I use this, you wouldn't believe how it blows people's minds. Like, what? Like, this is so simple, and the impact it has is so great. So we couldn't do it without the three of you and all the coordination, Becky and everyone else. Any questions anybody has?
If you're looking for volunteers, there's many high schoolers that are probably needing volunteer hours, right? And then they're perhaps going into healthcare fields and things like that. Has that been beneficial or?
The difficult part is it's during the school day. So it has to fit into schedules. We have taken high schoolers up when we do special activities like the fall festival that we did. We have taken some of the art students and they did face painting. And so we've definitely utilized it as much as we can. And teachers are really great about it, when we've asked to take kids. So, but it couldn't be a regular thing.
Yeah.
And, again, they've been really good. I mean, about getting parent volunteers to come, a couple, but I know sometimes they're not sure either, like it's just a matter of when you go in, well, how much should I put hands in there? So we're going to get better at that too. I think we need to, on our end, coach them. Coach the coaches. Beforehand, just saying this was the activity and getting them comfortable with knowing, hey, you can do this with them. You don't have to just wait for someone to tell you, But it's coming along really well. I mean, sorry. No, that's okay. I'm louder than
I'm not even sure if this is on. Is it on? It is? For that, okay. We do have grant monies that we've gotten every year from United Fund of Random Lake and Adele. So I'm anticipating we'll get it again for this year, and it covers the costs nicely. So probably, I guess, an average might be $100 per activity. Sometimes less, sometimes almost nothing, sometimes a little more, but that might be an average. We do pay for my time on site. So that $1,500 has kind of been helping us to have add some nice supplies to the activity. It's a big thank you to United Fund for allowing that. So.
I don't have questions, but I think it is amazing. It's an awesome program. I had a parent, in a home, and I'm sure that they just love it.
Me too.
If a parent wanted to volunteer, how do they know when you're going? Is it on like the school calendar, or like what's the?
So last year I put like a sign up genius together, and so I would watch for that. I'll get that going once we get into the school year.
And I'll usually bug teachers, be like, hey, can you poke your parents a little more, for the upcoming month, so they'll.
I definitely am working on retired friends. I've got a good, yeah,
We've had
pressure, you know.
We've had generally two chaperones accompany each class, and we could probably, I mean, ideally have two more adults. I mean, we make it happen, but that would be ideal, is to have two more volunteers to add to our, yeah.
Just kind of piggybacking off what Chris said, because I was at Gables the other, last week, I did communion with the residents, and they said, like, they can't wait for school to start again.
That's so good. That's good.
We also have, one in particular, a student who, was it his grade Dana?
Yeah.
Yeah, so both times we went up there, he said, well, can I go visit with her? And she didn't want to come out of her room, but he went and sat with her and talked with her. They might play cards one day, but the whole time he chose to spend with her, and that was special too.
Thank you.
And any of you that want to come and just hang out one day.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to Strong Classrooms, we had our new teacher orientation today. And it was happening alongside of our district leadership team. And Mike had these great ideas, like, let's put us all together. So we had a really great lunch, kind of got a chance to introduce everyone. And they had some time with Patty and with Kim and with, not Patty, with Holly and Lee. So just getting everything ready for our new school year. And it was just great to see the excitement as we are kicking off into our new year. And then my last part for the Strong Classroom, then I'll pass it over to Susan. We are going to try a new grading method in the elementary this year. We're using decaying, there it is, decaying average. And what happens, and this is a little unusual for an elementary, we put in grades in the grade book, but really what we found is it helps not only inform parents, it helps us get down into the meat and potatoes of, like, what do we need to help our students learn. So the elementary teachers are going to be putting some grades in for their power standards. And then what happens is it takes the average from the last few grades, because we know that even in fluency, it continues to build throughout the year, but you can see that student progressing based on some of the data that the teachers are putting in. So the decaying average would just be for the standards, the overall reporting category, and there's one more, overall standard.
The overall course.
Thank you. Those will still be averages of all of the standards together. So just preparing you, if you hear anything about that, I think it'll just be our next best step as we continue to kind of unpack our learning in the elementary.
And I just, to kind of touch on that, elementary grades, this is a place, it's a good place to practice, right? We've been doing a lot of work, 9 years worth of work around our standards and saying, these are the things we want our students to learn. And if we're really going to be an organization that uses data to find out if our students are learning these standards, we need to put it out there. We need to talk about, what does it look like the first time we hit that standard? What does it look like the last time we hit that standard? And we don't expect a student to be getting an A or a 4 the first time they do it. But as they continue to refine their practices, we give more power to the end scores than the beginning scores. And this is a place where we can see how it looks at the elementary. Our elementary staff have been great. If the grades aren't reflective of what we think, we do a lot of overwriting of grades anyways. More parents didn't have grade books now. So I really appreciate Becky and the entire elementary staff saying, before we start rolling this in the middle school and high school, let's see what this looks like in elementary. Let's work out the bugs. So this is the next evolution of our standards reference standards-based grading. And if you hear things, please have parents reach out to their classroom teachers, to Becky, to I. We think this is the next way to really get tight on what we want kids to learn. We're going to find out from there.
All right. So ACT practice days. So we have been doing practice days for a few years now. Normally the first one we did in October, and then the second one we did in December. We're going to do our first one on September 9th. The teachers, this was at the recommendation of teachers, so that way they can get their hands on the data sooner and incorporate any of those gaps. And then December, it'll be 3 months, we'll take another practice, and then in another 3 months is when they're actually going to be doing the assessment day. So that way they can have a much longer span to really be targeting those skills that students need to know and be able to do well on the ACT. ACT and ACP work this year, we're going to continue with Princeton Review. We're seeing some good gains and progress with that. We're also going to be adding in Zello, doing more with Zello with our ACP, Academic Career Planning programming. So you're going to see more coming out about Zello as well as Princeton Review throughout this year. And then our YA opportunities. So this year we have 23 students participating in youth apprenticeships across a variety of venues. We have 5 students working for the district, 3 in education, 1 in the fitness center, and 1 with ag. That'll be working with Whitney. So 6. Oh, I forgot IT. I forgot Nolan. How can I forget Nolan? So it's really nice seeing our youth apprenticeship really blossoming. And the students no more than 3 hours a day, and then they're doing coursework with us. Now that we're seeing more students going into ag and doing ag structured experiences, as well as with tech ed, and now starting into FIAD, the fitness and different things, the teachers are taking on a bigger role in the YA. So our new hire, he will be a YA coordinator for all of those that are out in the manufacturing construction youth apprentices, where he'll be going out to the job sites. He'll be seeing the kids on the job site, connecting with the employers. So that way we're having a greater connection with all of our employers that are employing our students and building up those skills. So we're excited about that next phase of our YA. And then last, I invite Travis. We wanted to give a data presentation on how we're doing at the secondary level. We like to do this annually. I know we did it the last couple of years, so we'll go ahead and walk through some data points. You can join me up here, Travis.
Can I just ask, so you did hire another teacher for helping with the youth apprenticeship? You know, like in the
Well, we didn't hire them for that. It's the new tech ed teacher.
the tech ed teacher?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I'll
Yeah.
do that as well.
correct. That'll be part of his assignment. Mm-hmm.
But you also added, so Whitney has an hour to get connected.
Yes,
I really love.
built into their schedule. Mm-hmm.
Each one of the teachers that have students, so like Mr. Wills would work with the business students. We have Whitney with the ag students. We have Jacob with the construction and manufacturing. So the teachers that are in these areas actually have an opportunity to build relationship with the employers in that area, which is genius. That helps.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
So what about like the healthcare field? So
I know we got to build on that, getting out into the healthcare, looking at potentially a science teacher. With that right now, Natalie and Randy are so tight, I couldn't build in that time for them. But definitely.
But overall, like Jake Frias is still.
He's the overall coordinator of Youth Apprentice, yes. Yeah. So as a building leadership team, we're always reflecting on the year before. What went well, where are opportunities for improvement, and we're always looking at our data. We've been looking at our data each year for the 10 years that I have been here. And just always trying to see what's going well, building upon that, but also what's not working and what can we change. So far, based on both middle school and high school building leadership teams, They love the schedule. The schedule has been working well, seeing a lot of positive results from that. Also, from the high school, we're seeing a decrease in the amount of failed courses. We have fewer and fewer students requiring credit recovery. When I first started, we had over 30 students at the high school that were requiring credit recovery. We had 6 this summer, just making up those classes that they failed. Targeted intervention groups, so working with Travis and ELA teachers really, and the math teachers really trying to target students who are struggling math and ELA. So this will be year 3 with our targeted intervention groups. Student mentoring opportunities. We kind of shift where we're trying to do peer mentoring at the high school, but we found we got more bang for our buck with our high school students mentoring our middle school students. And that turned out really well. And we already have high school students who have stepped forward saying, can we do that again as seniors? And so then we want to bring up more juniors so that way we keep that going. Incentive opportunities for students. They're big on time. They love time. And they also love the cafe. So we've been, using those to the best that we can. Cell phone policy, that's been a huge improvement in the school with students actually interacting with each other, but also the instructional gains in the classroom. Not having those distractors. Now, don't get me wrong, our cell phone's probably still within their person, yes, but it's not distracting with what they're doing in the classroom. Final exam schedule, year 2, been going very well. We decided to shorten, last year we shortened it to 2 days, and that's worked out really well, and building in that incentive study time. And then our club and YA opportunities. You'll see a slide a little bit later on with our participation, but we're seeing more and more participants from that.
I think you're still up.
Oh, yep. And these are the data points that we'll go through now. The school report cards, AP, ACT, US News, grades, WIN, and some other pieces. All right, so our state school report card. So these are average scores over the last 10 years since I have been at the middle school and the high school. Middle school average score is a 73, and that's in the exceeds expectations range. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 years that they were just in the meets, but the upper end. High school average score is 69.575. We're right on that bubble. And sometimes we've been in the exceeds and mostly in the meets, but the high range. Now, this is where the scoring band is right now. It changes every year. So it's always a moving target. So it's hard to really say what we can prepare for on the forward since it's such a lagging indicator and they are always changing that scoring of how it's being scored. But again, we're doing very well with that.
All right, Mr. Frias is not here. He's the AP coordinator, but I thought I can fill in for him and explain our AP scores this year. So if you look in the bottom, that's our percentage of students who scored 3 or higher. It's out of 5. 3 is the minimum score required to receive college credit at any university. So 3 is kind of considered passing. So we had our highest rate ever. We could look back a long time. We've never had 89% of students score 3 or better, so that was awesome. Our number of students, who took AP tests is a little bit down, but that varies by year. We can see in 2022, when we probably had 70 kids in that class, we only had 35 students take it. So hope to build on that this coming year. We'll have more students in AP Psych than we did this year, so those numbers should go up again next year, and we're going to try to get up above 90% of our students passing the AP tests.
What is the cost for an AP test, do you think? Is there the cost to it that might be something that's impacted the numbers?
It's like 100,
$100.
but it's a little under 100 if I remember.
Yeah.
It's 90. Yeah, I think it's about 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes up every year, like everything. Yeah. Okay, and then just a different graphic representation of it. And then ACT. So the colors are the different graduating classes. So the far left is the seniors who just graduated in May. And then the green would be this year's seniors. The blue would be this year's juniors. The red would be this year's sophomores. So the blue and the red are what they scored on the pre-ACT as sophomores or freshmen. And the right bar in each grade or each class is the number of students who were proficient or advanced. So it's always kind of between 20 and 28%. But what changes, as you can see, is the number of students who are advanced or proficient within each graduating class. So I think internally we've been talking, we'd love to see 30% or more proficient or advanced. So we can work on that.
And that's another way of backing up our first ACT practice, so that way we have an additional month or 2 months really working with the kids. Kate?
What are the score cutoffs for?
Advanced is 28, proficient is 24 to 27. And then they keep changing the labels. The next one is basic, and that's 20 to 23. But again, that changes every year as well. So
That also changes.
So a challenge we have is the juniors who will take the ACT this year in the blue, they have our highest number for a while of proficient and advanced. So we don't want that to go down, in April when we take the ACT. So we got to work on adding a few more to that to get to that 30% would be a huge objective and accomplishment.
Well, having like 30% of your students over 24 would be pretty.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be very good.
So the U.S. News and World Report that comes out every year, and I wanted to highlight us. We're normally sitting pretty good, but this is our best that we've been, where we're ranked number 60 out of 550 best public high schools in Wisconsin. Our last ranking was we were 84, so now we're 60. We've been ranked number 4 of one of the best high schools in Sheboygan County out of 11. We're always kind of hanging in that 3 to 5 range, so doing really good at 4. We have a 94% or higher graduation rate each year. And our AP participant rate has been 46% or higher with those who are taking AP classes, not necessarily meaning the test, but how many students we have. So almost 50% of our students are taking those AP classes, which is what we want them to take those rigorous classes, especially those who are going on into college. All right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Good question. So my question is, but so it's that how many students are taking APs, like the other two things, graduation rate and stuff goes into those rankings too?
They do. Yeah. It also goes into our achievement, so on how we're doing on the forward as well. And what also goes into some other factors that are more city related, not necessarily school related.
So is there socioeconomic stuff that goes into that, or is it all academic?
No, it's all academic.
And one of the things about the U.S. News that's unfortunate is we have a lot of students that are getting college level classes, and although we have a nice selection of AP classes, we have even a greater selection of college level transcripted classes that are high level. And I'm hoping someday U.S. News will take that.
They don't take that. Attendance rate is the other one. Yeah.
It's easy for them to pull AP and do this, right? But there's some students that are getting college credit that's actually a better college credit from the transcripted class that they're taking here than they do with AP, where colleges are not always giving in those science credits for the classes or the math. But it's still just another indicator.
Yep.
Every indicator is just another way to rank. How are we doing with this one?
Yep. All right. And so we've been tracking our F-stats, for lack of a better failures. Since 2000, my first year I started tracking, I went back to 2018-19 with my predecessor. And at that time, for semester 1, we had 121 Fs, 115 Fs. Our highest number ever was actually COVID year. So it was semester one, we had 209 failures. That was before we went virtual. When we went virtual, we don't count that one. But we start with this year as our baseline. And so then these are our last 4 years. And as you can see, our goal as a building leadership team and high school staff is to keep decreasing those Fs. We're down to 18. And so that's where I said we only had 6 students for credit recovery. We're always looking at what's interfering with the students being successful in the classroom. And that's what we're trying to target. And then especially with our WIN with the new schedule and how we've been structuring WIN, ELA and math, they have been they request students left and right, and you'll see our stats on that. And so our win time is being utilized to target students to make sure that we're decreasing that number even more.
And win times over lunch, and is that
Staggered. Mm-hmm.
over lunch? I know there's been some discussion around that, right? But
And we surveyed students, and not a single student mentioned lunch as a negative. Mm-hmm. Or
Request time with the teacher as well.
yes, we put that into play last school year. We haven't had a lot jumping at that, but we keep trying to.
Their parents are pushing them.
Yeah. So
Had 6 that needed credit recovery, and they recovered those credits this summer.
yes.
How was that? They did summer school?
They did summer school. So during regular summer school that elementary and middle has that Becky runs, we also do credit recovery at the same time during that time frame. And
They all recovered all their credits?
well, we focus on the core. So ELA, math, science, or social studies is what we focus on.
can you talk about how standards kind of fit into credit recovery as well?
Well, what we do with the standards, so Jake will put out, okay, these are the students right now that need credit recovery in one of these core classes. The teacher will go through and they'll look at and identify what standard did this student not show proficiency on that also led to that failure. Then those are the standards that the teachers focus on during credit recovery. So that way then the student is showing proficiency or mastery within that core, that content. Yep.
So do the teachers, like, if you fail somebody, are you doing credit recovery as a teacher? Or does somebody take all the credit recovery kits?
So, yep, no, good question. So we have Nikki Donahue does all the math. So she'll take all the math. Bart Epping takes the ELA or the social studies. And then for science, I think we use a combination of, I'm trying to think. We don't use Odyssey, but we use a combination of some things that they put together, almost like a virtual program, that then Bart and Nikki oversee the students working through with that. But then that content teacher is the grader, if that makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then can I ask one more?
Yeah.
So the 18 failures last semester, what about the 23 in the fall? Like, do all of those are like the?
It can be either the fall semester or the spring semester that they're recovering through summer. Yep.
6 students represented, like all those Fs were those 6 students?
No.
Some of those Fs are like choir or something.
Some of those are electives, yeah. And some of those we also do recover during the next semester. So let's say they don't require this elective class or something. We're going to replace it and we're going to recover this required course. So sometimes we're doing it the next semester. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so as you can see from our win stats, we went up even from last year from our win stats. Math and ELA are our top. Science is right behind. And as we've noticed too, the majority are freshmen and sophomores, the requests, and then juniors. Seniors are the least amount requested, and that, I'm not surprised by that, but that's where we tend to try to focus like our targeted groups and targeted interventions with that. But our electives, they can request students on Fridays, and you can see we have 315 requests. So they're requesting students too, to also get them performing at their best.
What happens with the students that aren't requested? Are they signed?
They're assigned to like a general study hall. Yep.
With the same teacher every day. So it's like a homeroom
Yeah.
model.
Oh,
kind of.
sure. Or
Yep.
get full for attention.
And so here's our YA work experience. We have 30% of our upperclassmen, junior, seniors, that are in some sort of work-based learning experience, and our 23 youth apprenticeships. So those are good numbers, and this is kind of where we want to be with our numbers, balancing that with our schedule load. Extracurricular involvement. 75% of students participate in some sort of extracurricular activity. 75% of the high school, 75% of the middle school. So you see on this next slide, which we were very excited about, all of the activities that students are involved in and the numbers that they're involved in. As you can see, our robotics is very new. Like, we're only year 2 at middle school, year 1 at high school, but we'll take them. And you can see our really popular clubs, but that's what we're trying to get all the students to be involved in something. So we're really glad to be at that 75th percentile mark. All right, you want to take this one?
Sure. So our seniors can earn open campus lunch by meeting criteria, good grades, no tardies or unexcused absences, no behavior referrals, no missing assignments. So each month we run a report of who earns those, and then they are released. I think we averaged about 16 a month. And they really value that. I'm sure Faith was clear how much she enjoyed that. So they get 2 hours off of campus because they get lunch, Wynn, and Ramway to leave. And they would go on these lunch dates. They would talk about it when they came back. Like, they really valued that time.
We usually got a lot of attendance notes clearing out.
Yes, because, man, they would come back to me with that one tardy that was mismarked 3 weeks ago, and I'd have to go clear it up for them. So they really value that. And then the juniors, we tried in the April or May.
Yeah, in the spring.
Yeah, and they also valued that and are looking forward to it now as seniors. And then we have these Rambuck cards. Instead of paper Rambucks, they're now plastic clear credit card things. I think we've showed them before. And we give those out at lunch once a month or twice a month for any students who, again, are earning same qualifications, grades, missing assignments, and then teachers hand them out in their classrooms when students are doing anything that kind of matches our goals for the year. So this year, if we see leadership, teachers will be handing out those as incentives. And then 44 students earned the final exam exemptions based on their ACT scores. So a lot of incentives, and they really appreciate it.
What can students buy with the Rambucks?
So they can, yeah, each card's $1. They can use them at the cafe in school and at concessions at sporting events. It'd be cool to get some local businesses involved in recognizing them too. Okay, we've given out this similar survey the last few years. So this one's kind of neat. Like, what are they proud of during their school year? So you can see the top there was getting good grades. I'm really happy with the second one of improving in a challenging course or class. I don't think 10 years ago that would have been such a high percentage. So it's neat that our students are embracing challenges now. And then sports is motivating kids, being part of a club, so getting involved. So good information, meeting friends. And another question was, what activities they enjoyed during Ramway?
Number one was the homecoming.
Yes, they love homecoming. And pep rallies. And
The grade level game competition.
Yep. One of the things we did this year, we had a day where students were mixed different grade levels, and we just played different board games and card games, and they loved it. Like, it was crazy. We thought it would just be like, hey, we'll try this month, and they requested it every month.
And your student leadership group, they facilitated all the different ones, and they had students asking for that more often, to do that more.
Yeah, they crave quality interaction with each other.
Especially, and they said, since we can't have our phones.
Right. So we'll keep a lot of the same things going for Ramway. And then privileges during Ramway. Yeah, they like to go outside in the courtyard when it's nice out there.
And the open campus.
Yeah.
And so as a building leadership team, we took these and we're going to be building in more of these choice activities throughout the day during Ramway. All right.
Next question, how's the open campus, like, is that, like, if they meet all those, like, every day they can leave for an hour? It's like
Just once a month.
Every month.
Yeah.
And so this coming school year, we're incorporating the open campus. The seniors will have their time, but then we're incorporating one for 10, 11, 12.
I think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think sophomores, juniors, seniors, to try to build on that. But we also know it's very special for seniors. Wanted to make sure they had theirs. All right, any questions?
I'd like to say that like Mike said, there was questions early on. Change is hard, but it sure looks like it's paying off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
that's
poor,
it?
poor Travis got to get stung by 3 bees between the meeting here. You did well. So he's coming. He's like, I just cut grass and I got popped by 3 bees and cutting grass. So thanks for making it in, fighting those. Yeah, go take some Benadryl and get a nap in. Thanks, bud.
Right, so then we have board committee reports, administrative and support staff and teacher negotiations met before this meeting. And that, we talked about handbooks, so that's what's next on the list. So we'll just pop on down to the approval of the 26-27 support staff handbook. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the support staff handbook with the exception of one spelling error in the table of contents.
Grievance is spelt wrong.
I haven't done anything with the table of contents yet. I always do that later, but thank you for.
It's probably been wrong for a long time, but
Yeah.
legalized.
Yeah, they gave it.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Beth, any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then we have the 26-27 teacher handbook. Is there a motion to approve?
Move that we approve the 26-27 teacher handbook with no changes.
Katie, is there a second?
I'll second.
Lindsay, any question or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Student handbook, is there a motion to approve?
Sure. I'll move that we approve the student handbook.
Katie, is there a second?
I'll second. Amy.
Who was it?
Amy.
Amy, okay. Any questions or discussion?
There was one question on the introductory paragraph, Susan, I told you about. Yeah, the forward.
Oh, that was something that Neola had recommended, and they sent over that, and so Kim forwarded it to us and said they recommended including the forward at the beginning of each opportunity.
Just,
I had just wondered if it was something like a specific episode that happened here that like somebody thought the handbook should trump the policy, or if it was something different. So that's what Mike had said too, was
And I think, as you read through that, it was really more for if there's any policy changes that you as a board make throughout the year, that takes precedence no matter what might be cited in the.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Substitute teacher pay. Who's talking about that?
one of the things that we're trying to do is instead of falling behind, as we look at CPI, how do we keep that up with all this? So in the handbook, you'll have noticed that curriculum rate went up 2.63. We are making a suggestion to also, let's just keep the substitute teacher pay following the same rates as we are with inflation. We have great substitutes that are here all the time. And truly, they deserve the same raise that we give to the rest of the staff. So this is something you're going to see every year as we get to the handbooks. Doing this, we'll talk about pay raises in May and June and July. And then as we do handbooks for our substitutes and our curriculum pay going forward. So that's our recommendation.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Chris, is there a second?
I'll second.
Jenny? Any questions or discussion?
I have a question. That's not, I guess it's not really related to 2.63, but like can you pull it back up, Kim? So if somebody is doing like a long-term sub, right, that's what that 30 or more consecutive day thing, if they have to do their own prep and planning, they're only getting $15 a day more. Like that feels, and as an instructor who does prep and planning, like that's a good chunk of my day. Is that normal to only get a little bit more? Is
Well,
it really prep and planning, or are they just doing a little bit?
I would say they're doing a little bit more. In that case, is it prep and planning? Is it more grading? We also have another layer above that if it's truly like a long-term sub that we need to have a contract with. This is still in that day-to-day way that we're doing this. I'm trying to think. We have a couple different situations that are a little bit different from there as well.
So if somebody was actually doing that, like they're running the whole thing, they would be making more than that.
Yeah, we have done that. If you're actually doing the planning, doing the grading, and you are the teacher, there's another layer that we actually put you under contract as a almost like a limited term contract type thing in some situations as well. Or I'm trying to make sure Patty, that sounds right, correct?
I would say the planning is almost planned by the teacher that's gone for the, maternity leaves. They have a general plan that they've made, but this is a long-term position, so.
Right, but they both kind of are, right? So it says like 170 if they're not doing prep and planning for a 30-day or more, and 180, right? And so I guess it just depends on the definition of prep and planning, but it sounds like it's pretty minor prep and planning, right, to get only 15.
Yeah, more involved, we have had that more involved, we go to that extra layer.
Thanks.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, this is something we do every year. We need to approve our official newspaper designation. Is there a motion to continue with the Sounder as our official paper, if Gary will have us?
I make a motion.
Amy, is there a second?
I'll second.
Beth, any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Gary.
Yes,
Thank you, Gary.
Next, we just have notification of the paid co-curricular coaches and advisors for 2026-27. Do we have anything that's new? Anyone?
One question came up was, we have a class advisor for the sophomore, juniors, and seniors. My answer was, that's because that was easy and we just moved everybody up. The freshman class advisor, is that something that comes later on, Susan?
Yeah, at the opening staff meeting, I put it out there to
Okay.
see if we have anyone to take that.
So we'll be seeing that in the near future.
So for the coaches, do they get pay raises like the rest of the, staff or whatever? How does that work?
I'm trying, with the coaches,
That is on kind of a different time frame than some of these other things. That's evaluated usually every few years. Certainly not an annual.
And there are different steps. If
Right.
they've been, how many years you get to move up to, then you make more.
yeah.
It's
But-
built in to move them up.
So it's not like a CPI thing or anything?
All right. Any other questions on all these coaches or advisors? All right, thank you to them for stepping up.
Yes.
We have school to work opportunities, approval of the 660301 agreement with Ozaki. This is something that we've done, this will be our 16th year. Is there a motion to continue doing that?
I'll make that motion.
Beth, is there a second?
Second.
Katie, any questions or discussion?
Different counties, different regions have different opportunities open to our YA students. This is more the Ozaki piece. So if students Jake finds a place for students down in this area, we have to be in this consortium. Sheboygan County has a different consortium. Don't get me going on how messy it is. Our goal is to give our kids as many opportunities and options as possible. And this has employers that are looking for some of our students. So that's why we're in this one as well as two other ones. So.
Okay. Any questions? Any more questions, discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Informational items.
So first, the first in-service new teacher orientation DLT was today. And, you know, we bring our district leadership team together to talk about what is this year going to look like? What are our goals? How are we moving forward? And it's so great because the leaders come in, they got to meet our new staff today. And then tomorrow we always try to do something fun with our staff. That's a kickoff. You can say we want strong culture, but if it's not just lip service, you actually have to do something. So tomorrow we will start at Nourish Farms. If you're not familiar, it's in Sheboygan Falls. Fantastic barn, a bunch of people that really care about agriculture and healthy food and healthy eating. Moved the Miley farm about 12 years ago onto this spot. And actually teach students how to do different elements of growing their own food. The elementary is actually integrating it into part of their structured adventures. So getting our youngest students their hands dirty, planting stuff, picking stuff, making food. That's another one of the structured adventures that we have. They've been so great to work with. And this is a year that we want to concentrate on our strong community connections. We got to see with generations. These are things that change people's lives, change your trajectory, and we're becoming the district known for that. So if that's what we want out of kids, that's what the adults do too. So tomorrow we are going to be digging in the dirt. We'll be picking vegetables. Groups will be cooking. And our morning will be us as teams working together with the strong community connections and actually learning something and then applying it right away. Couldn't be happier. We're able to do this because we don't use these 4 days of in-service and try to cram everything in. We've been talking about student growth in June. We talked about student outcomes in July. And we really have this really great event tomorrow. The principals do a great job of having their building meetings and then getting teachers in the classroom so they're ready for Tuesday. So I couldn't be more proud on how the cadence works on this, but I'm biased and I'm honest there. So second, I did want to, if anybody wants to, we can go peek at the playground. It was supposed to be done 3 weeks ago. We've been watching all of the carpet in rolls. I think they were delivered sometime in mid-July, right? And we just watched them sit there forever. But the blue carpet is rolling out. I think they got some of the green stuff. So if anybody afterwards wants to peek out the window, out the door and go on the curbing, we can see what it looks like. It's going to be fantastic when it's done. So I've been told it'll be done before school starts. We have a couple things. We're going to be putting a concrete path in from the parking lot out. Fencing is already, I think Patty put a deposit down on fencing. So we're doing everything to try to get everything done as quickly as possible. But hey, it's construction. And if there's a group that's really good at being flexible, it's us after the last 5 years. So yeah, no, it's been great. I can't wait. that playground, the turf, letting kids have that field is to me like the cherry on top of a pretty cool Sunday. So looking forward to getting it done and hoping I don't have to worry about construction for the next 5 years. Yes, yes.
Will it be done by the start of school?
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. So, we will not have grass around the sidewalk area. Yes, yes. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not making any promises, but we'll see. I feel like, we'll be close. And we haven't talked about it. We'll probably have to let the kids in the first week or two, through here. We won't be able to go outside because it would be too much mud, but we'll get around it and go from there.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to afterwards, we're gonna go take a little walk and see what it looks like.
All righty. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Chris, is there a second?
I second.
Lindsay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion